We are turning our attention to Wisconsin, a closely watched battleground state in the 2020 presidential election.
Yeah, polls opened for the early in-person voting there yesterday. Yesterday was also the same day they reported a staggering 4,591 new coronavirus cases. That is a new daily record. So we want to bring in Wisconsin Elections Commission Administrator Meagan Wolfe. Ma'am, thank you so much for being here. We're going to get into some of the challenges you have now with seeing record cases and trying to put on an election. But first of all, you all are a state that is used to doing about 6% absentee ballots. This time around, what are you expecting?
Yeah, that's right. So we typically did about 6%. We saw in our April statewide election closer to 60% absentee by mail. Wow. And then in our August statewide election, it was closer to 80%. But as of right now, we're looking at currently about 40% of expected turnout that has already participated by mail.
That's absentee ballot, but of course there still will be so many people wanting to vote in person, Meagan, as you know, and now you're dealing with these record coronavirus case numbers in your state. At the same time, we're heading into the final stretch of this election. How concerned are you that this could be very disruptive to the process?
We've had a great deal of practice this year in 2020 administering elections, and I think our voters and our election officials have had an opportunity to adjust. And so every single procedure at the polling place has been rethought with public health guidance front and center. And our local election officials and our voters have already had multiple opportunities to practice this. November will be our 4th statewide election here in the state of Wisconsin. And so we have been able to practice those public health practices at our polls. And we think that all 3 options that voters have to cast their ballot will be safe, secure, and ready for those voters to choose.
Yeah, you said you've been practicing, but you also had some shortages. You needed more poll workers. Do you have what you need yet?
We've been really proud of our Wisconsin voters and them stepping up to be poll workers. We're seeing a much smaller shortage than we did earlier this year. And we still have some shortages in our smaller communities, but we think that by the time we get to Election Day, that we'll be prepared not just to have enough poll workers, but also to have an emergency backup in the event of an emergency.
You mentioned that April primary your state held. Over 23,000 absentee ballots were rejected because of submission errors, and that is actually more than the number of votes President Trump won by back in 2016. What are you doing to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Voter education. Educating voters about the timeline for when their ballots have to be returned. So in Wisconsin, that means your absentee ballot must be back by 8 p.m. on Election Day. And then also educating voters about the requirements for making sure that they're successful in that absentee by mail process. So in the state of Wisconsin, the voter has to sign a certificate, and they also have to have a witness sign that certificate for that ballot to be counted. So educating voters through national channels, state channels, and also providing our local election officials tools to educate those voters about those requirements and about their options to cure a ballot if they do make a mistake.
So given all that are going to come in, are we going to get results from you all election night?
In terms of those unofficial tallies that you hear on election night, our local election officials are making sure they have the resources to get the unofficial results done as soon as possible, but they will not sacrifice accuracy for speed.
So maybe.
Better to be right than first. That was my takeaway.
All right, Wisconsin Elections Commission Administrator Meagan Wolfe, we know you guys are busy these days and will be for the next couple of weeks and maybe even after that. Meagan Wolfe, good to see you. Hope to see you again. All right, good luck.
All right, and you can check out all the voter guidance specific to your state at the How to Vote website from our partners at 538.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.